Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Very much facilitated. Ladies and gentlemen. First of all, it's very important to thank the organizers of this particular forum because small-scale mining situation in Ghana now is a big problem. We are at the verge of crisis, and if drastic action is not taken, I don't know where this country will go. Because this problem is now going beyond the mining sector. It's becoming a social problem, and for the large extent, it's becoming a national security problem. And we as regulators would like to just give you a brief about how the small-scale mining is service, how it is performing, and then the legal framework that has been set up to guide the small-scale mining. An outline of presentation, because we are just giving 15 minutes for presentation, we will be leading to a lot of things. But we'll talk briefly about the legal framework, the importance of small-scale mining, and the potential to contribute to the socio-economic development of this country. We'll talk briefly about the current situation now. We identify the potentials, and then we'll think how best to maximize it, and then we'll give the conclusion and then the way forward, so that together we can discuss these things and then put everything in the proper system. Small-scale mining in Ghana is backed by law. Let me give you some brief history about small-scale mining. Small-scale mining is a long time before even the Europeans came to this country. But there was no legislation that regulates that sector. Even before 1989, small-scale mining was going on, illegal mining. Even there was a crackdown. They were killing them. Even if you go to Tampa area, those histories were there. People who were killed because of small-scale mining. And at that time, even Togo was exporting gold, where you don't even have a single mine over there. What was happening? It means all the gold these small-scale miners are producing are being smuggled to Togo, and they are exporting it and then getting foreign exchange gain. That is why in 1989, the policymakers thought about it and said, no, let's put some legislation in place. That is why the first ever small-scale mining law, that is PNC law 218, was promulgated. This law was promulgated to, give chance to Ghanaians to operate small-scale mining and to create a lot of employment, and also to control what we produce in Ghana. That is why other institutions were also formed, like PMC, to buy the gold. Since that time, small-scale mining was going on well. Though, despite the fact that regularization was going on, people were licensed. There are some few people who were doing illegal mining. But the illegal mining at that time was not what is happening now. And that law was repealed, and now we have Minerals and Mining Act at 703. That is 2006 at 703. And in that act, limiting it to small-scale mining, in that act, we say every mineral in this country, be it on the surface, subsurface, on the continental shelf, territorial waters, everywhere, belongs to the state. And this is vested in the president. And the president is holding it in trust for the people of this country. That means the minerals in this country belongs to all of us. We just, give it to the president who is holding it for us. So anytime somebody wants to take it, you have to get that permit from the president through the minister. Basically, that is what it means. And we are saying that, or the law says that, So in mining, if you are not given a mining license, you are not supposed to undertake any form of mining. And in the small scale mining law, especially section 82, we said any person who wants to engage in a small scale mining law operation or small scale mining operation must obtain a license. And the people who qualify to obtain such license, number one, are Ghanaians. If you are not a Ghanaian, you are not supposed to even be granted a small scale mining license. And you must be of 18 years and above before you can get or be granted a small scale mining license. So because of this, Minerals Commission created centers, which we call district mining centers, all over the country. We put them at the strategic locations. You know, small scale mining is not just distributed uniformly in the country. They are concentrated in some points. So our district offices are, located at strategic areas which can capture the concentration of small scale miners at a particular area. So in that regard, currently we are having 9 district offices. Maybe I have to mention it for the sake of maybe people who like to engage in small scale mining in anywhere of the country, so that they will know exactly where to go. You have offices in Watakanga for all those people who want to engage in mining in Upper East region and some part of northeastern part of Northern region. You go to other office and then they will handle the situations over there for you. If you want it in the Upper East, you go to WA, you have an office in WA, you go to WA, and the WA also covers part of Northern region. And then if you want to operate in Ashanti region, especially in Atuma district, you go to Atuma and then this Dano district. You go to how do you call it, Viviani office. If you want to operate in Ashanti region, the lower part of Ashanti, that is the southern part of Ashanti region, that is Amasia Central, Amasia West, Bakwai Municipality, Kumasi, Upper Delta, and then Upper Delta, both East and West, and then Adanse South. You go to Dumkwa, you have an office there. If you want to operate in Eastern region, you have office in Ahedor. If you want to operate in northern part of Western region, you go to Asantewa. Those areas including Amenfi area. If you want to operate in southern part of Western region, you go to Takwa. In the central area, you go to Asimposu. So those are our offices currently. And the northern part of Ashanti region is Akonombo. So those 9 areas cover almost the whole of this country. So if you want to operate small scale mining, go to those centers and they are there to help you. And the procedures are really regarded as very simple. But with interactions we have with the miners, they are telling us that it's cumbersome. Because it is not only the Minerals Commission who is involved in the processing of the license. By our laws, before we are granted, a mining license to operate, there are some 3 permits you have to obtain. That is, you have to obtain permit, that is the license granted by the minister itself. And that one is site-specific. Anywhere you want to operate, you have to indicate that area, and the license will be granted in relation to that particular place. That is why, in granting the license, we try to, protect the environment. So we try to put some measures in place, like we will have to give some buyback to all water bodies in giving out the license. We cannot give this small scale mining license in the forest reserve. So So if anybody is operating the foreign reserve, is doing illegal mining. If anybody is operating on the water body, is doing illegal mining. We cannot give you a mining license in a Ramsar. And before the license is given to you to operate, you have to obtain Environmental Protection Agency's permit. And after obtaining that permit, before you start digging, you have to obtain an operating permit from our Special Division of Minerals Commission. So if you obtain these 3 license permits, then that is why you're supposed to start digging. And since you obtain this license from Minerals Commission, the officers at the district centers, they're engineers, they are well-qualified people who guide you how to operate. They are there to design, even the kit for you, so that you can operate in an environmentally sustainable manner. That is why if you have a license, the officers will come to you. Almost every month they have to visit every license site and see what is going on there. So if you are operating against the laws of this country, they will be there to correct you. And if they correct you and you continue to flout the laws, there is a punishment for that. And as we are talking about small-scale mining nationwide or the world all over is a very significant subsector for any economy where minerals are found. And in Ghana, we can say since we started regulating this small-scale mining in 1989, you have a lot of progress. In 1989, when this thing was started, especially the gold mining sector, it was only 2% of the total production of gold that was coming from the small-scale side. But as we are speaking today, at the end of 2012, we have 34% of gold production coming from small-scale mining sector alone. And as for the diamond production, the 100% of the diamond we produce in this country now is from small-scale mining. So the sector is a very important sector which you need to guide very well for the benefit of the country and for the benefit of each and every one of us. And small-scale mining currently employ about 1 million people directly. So you can see this sector is a potential. It's a potential because if you take a small-scale mining as a unit or as an industry, mining industry, it's comparable to the large-scale companies in this country. All the large-scale companies in this country who are operating now, they are all foreign companies. But to the policies of this nation, the small-scale mining is like indigenous company. It's for Ghanaians. And if you take it as a unit, you produce more than any other operating company in this country. So it is not something you should just leave it to go the way it is going now. That is why I believe at the end of this forum, we need to come together and then find solutions to most of the problems. As for the challenges, somebody has talked about it already. And currently, I can tell you for sure that the small-scale mining has, been transformed from labor-intensive type as we started to now semi-mechanized operations. I know the technology used is low level and it is a significant source of employment to Ghanaians. Because, excuse me to say, you don't need any qualification to be employed in small-scale mining. Unlike the former sector when they would demand some qualifications before you can engage. Small-scale mining goes back a lot of people who are there, who haven't been to school, who are not educated. This sector can help them. So it's a very important sector. and you have a low production cost in the small scale mining. And the small scale mining stimulates local economies. Anywhere there is a small scale mining, you see that the business is booming in those areas. And this multiplier effect, you have a lot of people going there to sell, people will be buying their goods, and their standard of living always go high. But this, notwithstanding, are associated with some problems which were, enumerated earlier on, and to go to that problem. But of course, our major concern is the environmental liquidation out of those problems. Because the way things are going now, it's like the small scale miners, as I said, the license is site specific. So if you obtain a license, you are supposed not to go near the river. And then you are operating on the river and saying that you have a license. It is not a license, you are operating illegally. That is why you can see that more than 80% of the operations that are going on in the small scale mining sector is purely illegal operations. It is only about 20% who are doing the right job. And I would like to approach the video to engage these few people, these 20% people. They are doing good job. Let's try to bring into the light those good jobs. Even that one can encourage even the people who are doing the illegal things to change. Because if the right that their friends somewhere are doing the right thing, they can also change and then do the right thing. And the small scale mining has started earlier, involve the locals. And even some people don't even regard them. They think people is of Galamsey boy, this man, it's like for, excuse me to use the word, non-entity. But now, we have a lot of, prominent people in a small scale. We have politicians who are doing small scale now. We have chiefs who are operating small scale. We have businessmen, and now even foreigners. And by our laws, as I stated earlier, foreigners are not allowed to undertake small scale mining. But currently, we have foreigners who are undertaking small scale mining. And the worst of it all is some of these foreigners, they are armed to the teeth. And even nobody can go to their site and even try to advise them. And they do whatever they want to do with impunity. Those are the problems which are confronting the states now. That is why we say if care is not taken, this will lead to different things altogether. As you may know, most of the rebel situations all over the world started in these mineral industries. It is, enclaving some areas as their property. That leads to this rebel movement in most of the countries. And if people would just come to this country and started to use arms to protect themselves and do whatever they want to do, nobody knows where they are living the country. Some of them may be doing the right thing, but most of them, the way they arm themselves and they are not even ready to listen to anybody is a cause for worry. And we must all get involved to solve this problem. And now you have to, identify the potentials in a small scale mining. As we say, job creation is one of the important issues in small scale mining. Because we believe that even if one person in small scale mining, you will have a lot of dependents. That is why, as we estimate that about 1 million people are operating in the small scale mining sector now, those people who are depending on those people, if you put them together, if you say at least 4 people depend on one person, if you are reaching about 4 million people who are benefiting from this particular sector, this will generate income for the people. It brings foreign exchange earnings to the country. It generates revenue for the local authorities. at the district assembly, because those miners, legalized ones, during even the publication of their documents, they pay some amount, some levy to the assembly, and they even pay operational fee to the assembly. So the assembly also benefits from those things. And as we say, this one, there is improvement in the local economy. And where you see small scale mining, the economy is booming. You can mention towns, Manso Fronta, people who know them about 8 years ago. And if you go there, you will see that it's different type of town altogether. If you go to Lugwa, you see different things altogether. So this improves or stimulates the economy locally. And small scale miners, they serve as precursors to the large scale mining companies most of the time, exploration companies. Because these people use their own, mind to find where the gold is. And from there, the large scale people trace it, and then they are going to discover it in the large quantities and then mine. And the small scale people, they help a lot of communities. They contribute towards the, corporate social responsibilities. As the first person has said, if you go to the party, like the school over there was built by small scale mining as a social responsibility. Even the borehole over there was built by small scale mining. And if you go to a lot of towns, their electrification projects were sponsored by the small scale miners. So we have those potentials to harness. And if we are able to do it very well, I think we can achieve what we want to achieve. That is to optimize, the small scale mining sector. And how do you maximize all these potentials? We believe that the reason why most of this illegal mining and the environmental degradation is going on is, in the small scale mining, one basic problem we have is we don't prospect the areas before giving out to the small scale miners. So some people go to the land, though they have a license, they go there, they dig first pit, second pit, they haven't got anything. And naturally, they have to use money to, cover the pit. Naturally, they are not getting anything. They will leave the place and go. Then by so doing, they leave the area just like that. All those things led to, the degradation we are witnessing today. And because of that, as a regulators, we now decided that we have to, all the areas we block for small scale mining, have to prospect it, and then know the value of the area before we parcel them out to the small scale miners. So at the moment, 16 areas were selected, and as I'm talking now, 7 have been properly prospected, and some of them were even given out to the small scale miners who are if you go to Japa area, they are benefited from these particular interventions to make. And we also like to, formalize the illegal mining operations in the designated areas so that they can be represented as a group. We should know the leaders, and by knowing the leaders, then we can put some interventions in place. As the first person has said, one of the major challenges is the funds or financing of the small scale mining projects. And according to his description, that is why they are even bringing some of the foreigners to come and assist. It's a laudable explanation. And as of now, since the law does not allow foreigners to engage in the small scale mining, as of now, we will not take that in, but it's something we have to think about later. But in the meantime, the small scale miners, a lot of interventions have been made before to small scale miners. I don't know if you were in the business for about more than 50 years now, you will know that in the middle part of 90s, even with contractors Sedicom, where loans were given to small-scale miners. But at the end, they were not even ready to pay. Even some people were given equipment, pumps and other things. Some of them even ran away with those equipment. You know, we have some record that made a lot of people, even the financial institutions, to be afraid of small-scale miners. As we are talking currently, we are able to, you know, group some people, identify some groups, and give them seed capital and equipment, finance commission. And as we are talking now, for about 3 years now, they were, because this was supposed to be even a soft loan, not much interest, wipe and pay, just like a higher purchase basis. But they were not, you know, doing their part of the bargain. So we gave a lot of interventions, but at the end it disappoints us. That is why a lot of people are afraid to, you know, deal with you. But what we are trying to do now is to engage some companies who can create a bank pool, so that if your organization or if your license, you go to them and negotiate with them, they can lease their machines to you or hire their machines to you, you work and then you pay. So those things very soon it will come involved. And the establishment of the small-scale mining association is very, very important. Even the law back it that you have to establish small-scale mining association. As somebody has said, you know, anytime you talk, people don't even know the difference between the illegal miners and then the legalized small-scale mining people. Because it's like there is no voice for them. Actually, we formed the association in almost all the district centers. And the small-scale miner who are just talking is even the executive of one of the districts. But what are they doing? See, we form this association, we always want to help them. You always call meeting. Sometimes you call meeting, they don't even come. You see, so if you go back, tell your people, we are ready to help, but you have to help yourself first. And then the most important thing is the law makes provisions for the establishment of mining committees in every designated center or district. The mining committee comprises of 6 people. It's only rather unfortunate that the chiefs are not here today. I don't know why. The chiefs are represented in that committee. That committee is supposed to help the small-scale mining office of the Minerals Commission to regulate the mining activities in that district. We believe strongly that if that committee is working, some of these problems will have been, you know, nipped in the bud. And because of that, we put it upon ourselves to strengthen that committee by even finance resource, giving them resource. I will not say help financing, but giving them resource. Because most of the complaints coming from the districts are they don't have resource to, you know, establish such committees. By Minerals Commission, we are now planning that we give them resource to, you know, start such committees. Because we believe that if those committees are in place, things will go on well, and then we can achieve our potentials we have identified. And then at the end, the whole country will benefit. And we also plan to, you know, train the small-scale miners. You know, small-scale mining now, formally we don't allow them to use explosives in their operations. Because we fear if we are not experts to handle explosives, we will not be allowed to use it. And we know they are not experts. So they were not allowed to use it. But now we give them a new way. If they have an expert, they can use it. And because most of them They were lacking in that direction. If you consider the last mining companies, they have training institutions in the company. So they train their people to come out to sit for exams, which normally is conducted by our exploratory commission. And then they give them this blasting certificate and then certificate of competency. So we are planning that we have to establish a training center, competency training center, to train these small-scale miners, so that they can also come out and then sit for examination and then get their blasting certificate. That will make it very simple for them to go for explosives, set up their own magazines, which will be controlled or will be monitored by our technical officers on the front, and then the operations will go on smoothly. And the major things which we think can be done to solve some of these problems and in a way to optimize the potentials are we need to collaborate with all the stakeholders, especially the local authorities, including the chiefs, because we believe that if these people understand and are ready to cooperate with the regulatory agencies, some of these problems will be solved. Because chiefs think in different ways. To them, the land is for them, and they have to use it anyhow they want to use it. That is why they wrongly demarcate their areas to people who work illegally. That is why we need to bring them on board and then collaborate and then use the laws of this country to, get or to maximize the potentials of the small-scale mining. And one very important thing which is lacking since then immemorial is value addition to our minerals we produce. The minerals we produce, we just sell them raw and then we export them just like that. But we believe it is a high time you have to create like a mineral village where we need to add value. It is only PNC which is doing something, but that one is on a limited basis. You have to create a sector which will add value to, especially the gold, the precious ones we are producing, so that you can have this connect design, so anybody who have that will know that this is coming from Ghana. We can design a lot of things which will be, attributed to the country, and by so doing, you add value to our mineral production, and that one will even create more jobs. And to end it all, the problem of small-scale mining is a problem that affects everybody, and all of us have to get involved. Everybody has to get involved. Let's not think it is the duty of only Minerals Commission or EPA or the soldiers or the police. Everybody, you need to get involved so that together we can solve this problem once and for all. Thank you.